Hi, I'm Crystal Hibbs. I'm the brewing manager of Stargazer Brewing, and together with Leslie Tenmaris and Carrie Stromberg, together we have a very successful home brewing business operation going on. However, with 30 years experience between all of us in brewing, we've now decided it's time to move upwards and onwards and open up our own microbrewery. However, in order to do that, we need bigger and better equipment to make that happen. And that is where your donations come in to help us out. Come on, I'll show you around. You're witnessing one of the prime examples here in the house of why we need bigger and better equipment. As you can well see, our tiny little lab hardly affords us the ability to scale upwards the way it currently is. This is Carrie, our fruit beer specialist and bottle wrangler. Hey Carrie, what you got going on today?
Today I am working on starting another batch of the blueberry ale. This is one of a series of recipe tests I've been doing earlier in this year. This is a 5-gallon kettle. It really should be something about at least 10 times as large as this to go to full commercial production, or at least small scale commercial production. This is fine for a hobbyist. But in order to be viable on a commercial level, we need to have much larger equipment and be able to do this at a larger scale.
Every single time I come over to, I learn a little more about the production of beer. So that's definitely very interesting and kind of one of those things that keeps me coming back. So
how are you liking this beer?
It is so good. It's just nice and light and refreshing. I mean, it's weird because it's a nice color.
I know.
It's kind of dark, but it has a light flavor. It's wonderful. It's fruity. Almost comparable to Leinenkugel, but I think it's better.
And I normally don't like fruity beers,
Yes.
but I'm really, really enjoying this. Normally I like the IPAs and stuff like that. So
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Stargazer Brewing's really got their stuff together.
Yes,
for
they
sure.
do.
they expand to many different varieties. So I really enjoy that.
This is Leslie, our resident evil genius and chief engineer. Leslie, can you tell us how this system out here is different than in the kitchen?
This system is designed to use whole grain rather than malt extract. So we're able to put the grain in this mash tun, and then we recirculate through a pump and through a heat exchanger. It's a heat exchange recirculating mash system. And this is a little more like a commercial system where you would be able to use the whole grain all at once. It's a little more economical for producing larger volumes of beer at a profit. Also, it lets you have a lot of control over the flavors in the beer by the temperature that you mash at. You can greatly influence how the flavor and the body of the beer comes out by what temperature you're doing these things at. We have an electric controller that uses industrial pit controls and allows us to very precisely control temperatures and times as far as what we're trying to do with the brew.
So, what are the constraints to a home system such as this?
The biggest problem is that this can only, at the max, and pushing the system hard, we can brew about 10 gallons at a time with this. In order to be commercially viable, we need to be able to produce about 15 barrels at a time, which is close to 800 gallons. It's just not going to happen with something this small. So there's a large investment in larger equipment, bigger boil kettles, bigger mash tun, and a heat exchange hot liquor tank. That's mostly what we're up against with this.
Always keep Stargazer Brewery in your mind, and they would definitely appreciate your investment and support. Cheers.
Future Stargazer Brewing! Proceed!